next stage. What is that next stage after pupa? It is inside now, inside the cell. Yeah, inside the cell. So what is that cell called as? It is encased inside the cell. That is only called as cocoon. So after that, it will develop fully. It will develop into pupa. So after this pupa, what will happen, Mari? Pupa will turn into an adult silk moth. What is it called? Adult silk.
Adult silk moth.
That is what. After that, it will turn into the adult silk moth. Then this cocoon split up and a beautiful silk moth comes out by flying. So that is only called as the adult female silk moth. Again, it will lies more eggs. So in this way, the life history of silk moth is completed. Understand? So the silk moth laying the eggs on mulberry leaves, it will turn into a what? Larva or caterpillars, and they will form the protective layer called as cocoons. So the inside the cocoons, pupa will develop. So this pupa again further will be developing into adult silk moth. Adult silk moth. Do you understand, Ra? So now,
Silk moth.
here if you'll observe, in order to produce silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon is not allowed to mature into an adult silk moth. That is what the thing you should remember. Suppose, if you want to get a good silk, then this pupa should not develop into the silk moth. Understanding, Ra? It should die inside. If it will come outside, that silk is not good silk. It is damaged silk. That is why that silk moth.
So only they are boiling it, sir.
Yes, before. Yeah, that is not Mari. Boiling is another process. That is processing the cocoons. We have to do boiling to get the threads. Okay, wow. So here, after
Yes, sir.
most of the cocoons, like a self gel, Mari, they will be completely make a encased by themselves itself. So that so many maximum will die. 1 or 2 only will come out. Do you understand? So that 1 or 2 only will useful to produce again
Yes,
babies, like in the sense of laying eggs and all, laying eggs and all. Understand? Laying eggs and all, they will be useful. Remaining most of them, they will die inside. Then only we used to get the quality silk. So if you want to get the quality silk, adult silk moth should not develop. That is the most important thing. Understand, Hari? If adult silk moth
Yes, sir.
developed, remember,
Yes, sir.
as soon as the cocoon is formed, it is used to obtain a silk fibers, and the developing silkworms gets automatically killed. Means in the sense of the pupa is killed itself, so that no silk moth will form. Understand? Because the
Yes.
silkworm is allowed to mature into a silk moth, then the fully formed silk moth secretes a liquid to dissolve a part of the silk, because it needs to come out. Is it yes or no? It is stuck inside.
Yes, sir.
So if it wants to come out like a butterfly, again it will secrete some other liquid, so that liquid will melt. Means in the sense of it will dissolve this silk fiber, so that it is damaged. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Is the reason why adult silk moth should not develop. So at the stage of pupa itself, it gets killed itself. Understand? So if not,
Yes,
what
sir.
will happen? The silk moth will form. So if the silk moth, if it wants to come outside, it will secrete a liquid to dissolve a part of the silk of cocoon, to break it, so it comes out of it and fly away from it. But you can see here, if you are getting a longest possible silk, then it is having very high cost. Cost is very, it's like a quality. Understand? So because of dissolving this silk some part, all the thread will break. Is it yes or no? Suppose I have made some kind of a thread I am having. Some place I have cut, then it will become completely into small pieces. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
If it will happens like that, then it is not a good quality. So that is why this breaking of cocoon causes damage to its silk threads, and hence lowers the quality of silk. So that is why the length of the silk depends on the quality of silk. Understand? If more quality, more stronger and more length. If it is cocoon will form, then if once the adult moth will form, then silk moth will form, then that cocoons will be thrown out. They won't be collect to sell in the market. Do you understand, Ra? Why? Because if
Yes, sir.
it should be completely closed. The cocoon should be completely closed. If it is having any opening, then it is damaged cocoon, so that it won't be cast a good quality silk, so that they will be thrown outside. That is why while collecting itself, they will be thrown outside. So this is about the silk moth, life history of silk moth. Now you can see here why the cocoons having developing silkworms inside them, they are used to obtain silk, because some of the silkworms are allowed to live and mature into silk moth, so that they can lay eggs to produce more and more and more silkworms. But if all the things are converting into the silkworms, then we cannot get the understanding pure quality of silk. So that is why some only allowed to converting into silkworms, silk moths, because they should lay eggs to produce more and more and more silkworms. So remaining all will be killed inside itself. That's all. So that is why the silk production involves cultivation of mulberry trees and rearing of silkworms. So if you will say silk production, two things will come. What is that? Cultivation of
mulberry trees.
Mulberry trees. Why? What is the food for
Because
silkworms? What is the food? What is that?
mulberry leaves.
It will only
Leaves.
mulberry leaves. Understand? So that is why.
Yes, sir.
If you take the silk production means two things will come. One is what? Silk farming, and as well as mulberry trees. Two things.
Mulberry leaf.
So that is, you should remember it. Understand? So
Yes.
this mulberry is a small tree whose leaves are used for feeding the silkworms, so that this mulberry is only the strongest protein fruit which can secrete the more amount of silk in a less period of time. So the adult moth, in the sense of larva, can grow very, very fastly by eating this mulberry leaves. If it eats more and more, that is why when it is in larva stage only, means after laying the eggs, when it is in larva stage, lot of feeding they will give. Why? When it will comes to the pupa, once it will form the cocoon, it won't eat the mulberry leaves. Later only secretion of liquid only. So only in stage where we should give the feeding. Which stage? Only laying eggs. Understand?
Larva.
Lay the eggs. Once it will lay the eggs and it will converting into the larva, in that stage we have to give, understanding, more and more.
Yes, sir.
So that is only, then only it will grow very stronger and very bigger, so that it can produce the more good quality of silk. Understand? So that is.
Yes,
so
sir.
about how this silk is produced. So later, understanding, we can see how this production of silk will takes place, how this understanding silkworms hatching of eggs, how this after laying the eggs, how this hatches, after hatching, how they will eat this mulberry leaves, how the cocoons will form, from the cocoons how this silk moth will form. That is all we'll study in the next class. Now we'll we'll note down the few points. In the next class we'll study production of silk. Is it okay, Mari? Hari?
Yes, sir.
Now you should write few points, what important point. So that is what you should write right now. Eggs, larva, pupa, silk moth. Have you written that 4 stages, Mari?
Sir, yeah, yes, sir.
Next, write the larva of a silk moth. The larva of a silk moth.
Sir, doubt, sir. Sir, we want to put the title as egg, sir.
What?
We want to put the title as egg.
Nothing. You continue next point.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
The larva of a silk moth. The larva of a silk moth, which produces silk, is called silkworm. Is called silkworm. Next is called silkworm. The silky covering spun. Next point. The silky covering spun. The silky covering.
Wait, sir.
Okay, I will write it here. That is better. The silky. Hari, are you understand or not? Covering spun. Hari. The silky covering spun by the silkworm. What we should call this one, Hari? By the silkworm. What we should call name? It will start with a C. Silkworm.
Cocoon.
Of a silk
Cocoon.
moth. Of a silk
Cocoon.
moth is called as what? Cocoon. What we should call?
Cocoon.
Or cocoon?
Cocoon.
Okay. COCCON. Cocoon. Okay, wow.
Yes, sir.
Note it down. Hurry. Next. Next. In order to produce silk, in order to produce silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon. Inside the cocoon. What we should call that is? CO inside the cocoon. What we should call? Pupa. What we should call?
Pupa.
It's understanding. Pupa is not allowed to mature.
Yes, sir.
Is not. It should be killed. It must be killed. Understand? Is not allowed. Is not allowed to mature. To mature into what? To mature into what, Rahari? To mature into
Adult.
an adult silk moth. An adult silk moth. Why? Because why, Mari? Because silk adult. If adult silk moth will forms. If adult silk moth forms, it will damages what? It will damages the.
It damages the pupa.
Cocoon. Understand? It damages the silk fibers. That is better. Silk fibers. Is it okay, Mari?
Yes, sir.
That is. So that is what you should write it.
Yes, sir.
So now, last point you should write. Write this one, last point. So if whenever you are saying that silkworm means in the sense of what is the two industries are present, two things are present. What is that? Whenever the silk production if you take, one is mulberry trees and as well as
mulberry trees and silk.
Two things. One is
Silk.
cultivation of mulberry trees and rearing of silkworms. That is what. So silkworm.
Yes, sir.
Silk production. Silk production involves cultivation of mulberry trees and rearing of Hari. What is the meaning of rearing, Hari? Rearing of producing means what? Providing food, providing shelter, and taking care of health. Understanding? That is from the diseases, protecting from the diseases. That is called as rearing. Do you understand, Hari?
Yes.
Somebody
Yes, sir.
asked you rearing means the sense of what? What we are doing? Providing fruit for the silkworms, shelter for the silkworms, and as well as health conditions, good health conditions. Understand, Ra?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Write it all the points.